Okay, welcome to Community Quotes. If you can, say and spell your first and last name for us.
Thank you. My name is Victoria Babineaux, and I am also known as Vicky. Victoria is Bictoria. Babineaux is Babineaux, and Vicky is Bicky.
Gotcha. Thank you, Vicki, so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what your childhood was like.
I grew up in Ecuador, in Quito, the capital of Ecuador, who is my birthplace. And my childhood was a nice one, a very good one. I had loving parents and brothers and sister. And it was a happy childhood. My household, it was, my parents were great. My mother and my father were the people that taught us to be resourceful, to be educated, and they really zeroing in education for all of us. So I had a very good education. I had a stable home.
Okay.
And my father and my mother, they both work. In those days, especially considering the times, I consider my mother a very liberated woman because she worked outside the house. Part of the time, I grew up with a nanny. And actually, my first words were her name, rather than my mama or daddy. Yeah, because I was with her. But on and all, we had a great childhood.
How did you rank in the lineup? You said you had siblings. Are they older than you? Younger?
I am the baby.
You're the baby.
I am
so
the
you were
baby.
spoiled?
Yes, and I am still are. Even my brothers and my sister, they really do care a lot about me, and they spoil me if necessary. I haven't been in Ecuador for 5 years. Was the last time that I visited Ecuador.
Okay.
So I am due for a visit, especially to see my brothers.
Well, tell me about the first time you came to the United States and what that was like.
I came to the States in 1967, probably. My sister was living in New Jersey, in Runnymede, and I studied for about a year in Philadelphia. And that was my first time. And then, of course, I came back several times as a visitor, obviously. Except the time when I was in Philadelphia, which I was as a visitor also, but studying as well.
What did you study? What
English.
English.
Yeah, even though in Ecuador English is it's our second language from kindergarten on. They teach us English as a second language. So I knew English. However, when I went to Philadelphia, I continued studying, and I continue studying. Yes.
That's wonderful. So when did you decide to reside in the United States?
When I got married.
Yeah, so tell me about that.
Well, it's been 45 years.
Wow.
My husband and I, obviously for the last name Babineaux, I married a Cajun. And we married in Ecuador. We were both working. My husband was working for petroleum helicopters, and I was the subsidiary of petroleum helicopters was Ecuavia Oriente. And he went to work in Ecuador, and I was working for Ecuavia Oriente also. So that's how we met. And that's how I came to the States 45 years ago. I came as a resident, and I went through the process with those days you had to go to the embassy. They took x-rays. Pulmonary x-rays. The embassy, the American embassy doctors, that was the process. And I believe it's still now. I am not sure how it is now, but that was a regular process. The doctors in the embassy check you out and took the x-rays to make sure that I didn't have any pulmonary disease, obviously, contagious.
Right.
And after that, I was given a resident visa. I was married to an American citizen. So I came to Louisiana.
Here you are.
Here I am.
And you've traveled to several different states. What do you love about Louisiana and Lafayette?
Oh, I love the culture. That's one of the things that I love most as a Louisiana. Well, I consider myself a Cajun to begin with because I love the culture, I love the festivals, I love the food, which, if you remember, the Spaniards were here first before the French. So some of the food, believe it or not, we have it in Ecuador, like the boudin, the rice and gravy, things like that. All the food that they do with the, with the other parts of the animal, the cow or the pork, whatever.
Boucherie, yeah.
The boucherie, we all have that in Ecuador. So, and in Ecuador, the Spaniards were there, obviously the conquistadores. So it's, when I came here, it was just, I submerged myself in the culture because I like it and I love it. And the people, they are a little bit like us also in Ecuador, very friendly.
Yes.
We kiss on the cheek and we hug if possible. So it's all, I just submerge myself, like I said before.
Wonderful. So tell me about your career path and what you did after you went to school.
Well, when I was working, I graduated from the nuns school, the Sacred Hearts. My sister and I did that, and we graduated from them. She graduated as a bookkeeper. I graduated in the secretarial sciences. After that, I attended for a few, I imagine, months, college, and I went to work. So I worked there for, one of my jobs was with a government job with the National Planning Board. And then I went to work for, when I came back from the States to Ecuador, to Quito, I went to work for Petroleum Helicopters subsidiary, Ecuavia Oriente. I also worked for the Williams Brothers, which is a company that built the pipeline in Ecuador. After they completed the contract, I was still there working between Texaco and Williams Brothers. And then I got married and I came here. I went to work here in Louisiana. I went to work for the Boy Scouts. I was the secretary to the executive director. Yes. That was a long time ago. After that, I got pregnant. I stopped working to take care of one of my sons, but the computers were coming at that time. So I went to Lafayette Technical College. I graduated from Lafayette Technical College with a degree in secretarial sciences and information processor. So once I did that, then I went to work with Lafayette Consolidated Government. And I worked there and I retired after almost 29 years of service.
Wow.
Yeah, I retired not too long ago. And
so what's retirement like?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it, yeah.
You're not bored?
No, I have 2 grandchildren and I have a husband and I have a dog and I have other activities that keep me busy, but on and all, I'm very happy. There is a time and a place for everything, and this was the time for me. I firmly believe that. So Maybe in the horizon, I might go for my master's, because in between all of that, I graduated from UL also.
Mm-hmm.
I have a degree in modern language with a minor in communications.
Oh, wow.
So,
You're a busy lady.
no, I am just a permanent student.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Tell me, in looking at your life, whether it's through working or personal achievements, what do you consider to date to be your greatest achievement?
My two sons.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Being a mother is a wonderful role. It's a challenging role, and it tests you
Yeah.
in different times, different
Mm-hmm.
occasions.
Sure.
So,
And in looking at that experience being a mom, is there anyone that you would consider in your life when things might have been stressful that you would consider to be influential in your life? Someone that was an inspiration to you to think positive and, you know?
my mother and my father, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with a mother that had a lot of faith, and it was very optimistic. And I am like that. And a father that was had a lot of faith. So I have that rare combination of faith and work. The working ethic of both my father and my mother were enormously. So that's what I inherited from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if there is something that I remember growing up that maybe I didn't do, or my mother considered not doing well, I kept that, and I tried to make sure that I didn't do it
Mm-hmm.
with my sons.
Right, right. That's good advice. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about AOC. How long have you been a member of AOC, and how did you first get involved with us?
I had been a member for maybe about 11 years. I started with the program Nuestro Mundo Latino.
Mm-hmm.
I am a producer and director
Okay.
of Nuestro Mundo Latino.
I'm not familiar with it, so tell me about the program and what the purpose was.
The purpose of the program was education and information. Education in the sense of giving out enough, educating the people, the Latinos, the immigrants that come to Louisiana or to Lafayette specifically, so they can integrate themselves into the community. With the program, we had attorneys, we have professors. I was lucky enough that when I started the program, I did it with Dr. Maria Salduondo, who at the time was one of the professors at UL.
Mm-hmm.
So from then on, we had different, absolutely wonderful hostess and people that helped me with the program. At the moment, we have as hostess Vanessa Paredes, who works for Lafayette Consolidated Government for the International Trade Center, and Dr. Francis Garcia Rubio, who is an associate professor at UL. Mm-hmm. And I am in the process of trying to give somebody the opportunity to take my place. Because, well, it has, like I say before, everything has a time and a place. Mm-hmm. And I think it's time for somebody else to take the program, take it to a higher level, mm-hmm. You know, put some input in whatever else they can think of do with the program. And it hasn't been, I haven't been as successful as I would like to, because it's a commitment.
Yes.
It's a commitment.
It's like a marriage. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
marriage is another thing. Marriage is a work in progress all the time. That's how I consider marriage. It's a work in progress. And but the program Nuestro Mundo Latino is a commitment. It's time that you spend that that you need to find a niche in the community, get the proper guest that will impart some worthy information to the individuals that watch the program. So in that respect, I have had what I consider success, because each one of my guests have been able to do that, give information, impart information to the people that watch the program. Amazingly enough, I think at one point, I don't know how it is right now, but at one point, the American viewers were the ones that we had more so than the immigrants. And it is in Spanish.
Yes.
The program is in Spanish. So obviously, you know, that was a benefit maybe, or a challenge for the Americans that watched the program, because obviously they needed to practice their Spanish skills.
Yes.
So that might be the reason, I don't know. So that is the program itself, and that's what the goal for me will be, to find someone that can take the program and take it.
Certainly, I think they would have big shoes to fill.
Well, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. However, we all as humans, we can excel in one or two or three, whatever areas you have. But if somebody is up to the challenge, I'm sure they can do it.
I know that there is a large Hispanic community in Lafayette Parish and the surrounding communities. Do you see a need for any groups or charities or outreach programs, not just through AOC, but one-on-one, a need for any involvement with that culture and in getting them more involved?
Well, I was part of the core group that formed the Hispanic Catholic Mass also.
Okay.
So we are the ones, I am one that started the Catholic masses here in Lafayette. So, and that is still on. They have a mass on Our Lady of Wisdom, I think it's on Saturday, and they also have one, I think it's in Scott maybe, and of course New Iberia has one. So that part, we have, I don't know how big it is right now, because obviously once I feel like I need to move on and let other people, in other words, I don't want to, other people needs to, have their ideas and everything into
the younger generation needs to get involved.
Exactly. So you said it right.
Yeah.
So, and also I was one of the founding members of ACLA, which is the
Tell me more about that.
Asociación Cultural Latino Acadiana,
Okay.
which is one that also puts, right now they put the Latin Festival, I think it's in October. At that time it was, and it's in connection with the International Trade Office that we did that, and it was active, and I also was one of the founding members of that, and I also, that's when I left ACLA to start Nuestro Mundo Latino also. So it's, I believe in other people taking the reins of whatever program or whatever committee I started or something, and moving on to to the next level. I don't believe in staying in one place for 10, 15 years with the same objective, but growing it.
Well, and that leads me to my next question. Where do you see yourself in a few years, and what projects do you see yourself involved with, if any?
Well, right now, just in very, very little, I'm working with Cathedral, just minimum involvement in the gift shop, helping them with the Cathedral. I am still toying with the idea of going for my master's, which eventually probably I will do it, because like I said before, I am just a permanent student.
Yeah.
I have come to that realization. So, and as far as I will continue try to grow Nuestro Mundo Latino. I will hope that somebody will continue that, because I think it's very important for the community. And of course, I like the support that I can give to AOC.
Gotcha. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. I'm going to ask you some lighthearted questions now. What type of music do you listen to, or tell me more about your favorite television programs, other than what's on AOC, of course?
Well, talking about AOC, I think one of the, before we go to the light part of of your questions, I think some of the Hispanic, the Latin community, they don't have like cable or fiber. They have the dishes, and sometimes I don't think AOC is in one of those, and I think that's one of the things. So I don't know if AOC can do something like that, but I figure I'll let you know.
We're working on it.
Very good, very good. And as far as music is concerned, I just like all type of music. It all depends in the mood that I am at the time. That I like classic if I want to relax. If I don't want to watch TV, I just put the TV, but in light classic, and I just sit down and just enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning, especially with my husband, before I put the news on. That will be one. I love Cajun music. I love Zydeco.
Okay.
It's a happy tone. And then, of course, I like some of our Latin American tunes. As far as news, what I watch on TV, it all depends. It all depends in the mood that I am. I follow closely the news. I like a little bit of the politics. Of course, we will not talk about politics right now. That's not a good religion and politics. That's not something that we can do lightly, but I do watch that also.
It's good to be informed.
Yes.
Tell me what the last book that you read was, or if you're reading anything right now.
Well, right now I'm reading, or try to read. I just had, I just ordered my new glasses, and until I get my new glasses, I cannot read because I cannot see, or I can on the computer. I have one book, which is the life of Saint Teresa, that I have been reading, and I have been reading for a long time. But it's a little bit hard because you have to get the meaning of the book. It's in Spanish, by the way, and so.
Are the majority of the books that you read in Spanish?
No.
Or do you, okay.
No, this one is in Spanish because you know, it was recommended to me, and I have been reading it slowly. But right now, I'm not reading anything because I cannot see.
Okay, that's a good reason.
Well, I just ordered my my glasses, and until I get them, I can't read. I cannot see anything. I have a magnifying glass that I go through if I need.
And you drive?
Oh yeah, I can see far.
Okay.
I just had.
Should we be nervous?
Not at all.
Okay.
I am a very good driver, actually.
Great.
Yeah, I have been driving for a long time. And if you drive in Ecuador, you can in Quito, you can drive anywhere.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lafayette. All right.
Yes. Yeah, you can drive in Lafayette. Lafayette is smooth driving as compared to Quito.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yes.
If you could spend one day in someone else's shoes, who would it be and why?
Probably my mama.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
As I say before, I had been shaped my personality.
Mm-hmm.
It's my mama and my daddy, both of them. And I consider myself a little bit like my mother. She was so energetic, and I am very energetic.
Mm-hmm.
She was a businesswoman, and I am one. And so it's just, she was so very optimistic and so much faith. And I am like that. Mm-hmm. So for me, there is no way of being in any other shoes but my mom's.
Okay. If you could have dinner with, say, 4 or 5 different people, whether they're celebrities, someone from history, an ancestor of yours, who would you invite to dinner and why?
Well,
if they could be living or deceased.
Well, that is something that is so very objective. First of all, famous people, probably it's going to be Indira Gandhi, Mother Teresa, people that can teach me something, people that I can, learn from. Obviously, I will invite my father and my mother in that mix, because that will make a very interesting conversation.
That would.
So, but people like that, people that have something to say, maybe Winston Churchill, that type of personality is the one. Any other people, they just don't call my attention.
That's a great answer. We're closing up, and I just have a few more questions. How would you like to be remembered?
Just like mom, just like a mother.
What type of qualities would you say that you possess?
Well, as I say before, hardworking, very optimistic, and very energetic.
Great, great. Last question, what do you foresee for yourself in 2018?
In 2018, the most important thing for me is to have a good health, because I have 2 grandchildren that I like to continue seeing and playing with them and talking to them, and every so often taking care of them.
Yeah. Do you have any final words or thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Only that when I do the program Nuestro Mundo Latino, and when this interview, I believe in the people. Every person has something to offer, and you should improve yourself. You should improve your education. I believe in education wholeheartedly. So improve yourself. Don't be afraid. And if you have something that you have to offer, but you are afraid, forget about that and do it anyway. If you fail, you fail trying. You don't fail by not trying. That's something that I have done all my life, and I continue to do so.
All right. Well, Vicki, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.